Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back from my long overdue hiatus. And it is time once again for another rage video. And for some reason, this just starts immediately. I should warn in advance if you think that maybe there might be some problems with the playback features in this video, I'll make sure to have them sorted out. In particular, because for some reason, every time I try to export footage from this camera, it immediately, some things will come back on, and then I have to immediately format the entire card once it's done. And that I don't quite know what the reason for this is. So there's nothing for it but to render every single video I have to make from now on every single time it's done. So I'll get straight to work on making this one once all this is said and done. Now, if it does sound like I'm stalling a little bit, well, there's kind of a reason for this. It's now 10:05 at night, and I'm probably going to call it a day in about an hour from now. However, I kind of did always want to return to doing sleep at some point, and I thought, well, late at night, well, here it is. And interestingly enough, we are going to 1992 or 1991. We're going to the very beginning with Sleep, their first album, Volume 1. It literally is called Volume 1. I don't make up the rules on this. That's literally what they called it. However, and this is the part I might have a little bit of trouble in talking about, because the song itself is called Stillborn. Now, I'm going to be completely honest and direct, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a parent myself. I've never got a woman pregnant before, and I don't know what it's like for having had to have a child born that was sadly born as stillborn, and I think it's close to one of the absolute worst things I think a woman can go through, to give birth to someone who's stillborn. And I don't really want to get involved any more than that. I don't know anyone. I don't know anybody who's been through that stuff, and you can tell immediately why this is this really making me feel uncomfortable, because it's okay. Usually when I have reservations or I really struggle to say something, you can sort of get a sense that it's making me a little bit uneasy, and it's I now usually if you're relatively new to me doing these videos, I would usually listen to the song and then go back and say that maybe it's a different interpretation, it's not immediately what I think it is. And I think that sort of works into a little bit of the charm of Sleep, because when you're asleep, you could be in a completely different world beyond the land of Nod. You could be in a world of your own creation, or one that only your mind can conjure up. And if they're anything like the dreams, well, nightmares I've had over the last... for some reason, I have this reoccurring nightmare. It's different settings each time, but it's I have to try and get to one place, but I'm constantly lost in a corridor endless corridors, or for some reason I can't get to one spot that I know is so easy to get to. Do you think that counts as a nightmare? Well, I'm going with that anyway, even if it means absolutely nothing. Anyway, also it's a good time to test out my new ring light, so I may as well for tonight. And you know what? Doing a bit of stoner. Let's see. Light. Oh, that's much better. So, stoner metal. Okay, so anyway, for those who don't know, Sleep is this beautiful combination of stoner metal, doom metal. Basically, it's the equivalent of taking marijuana, basically, or getting high to music. And if you're one of my absolute favorite examples of this is the song Dope Smoker. It's a 1 hour and 10 video that I did on myself nearly 2 years ago. I fell asleep once every 12 or so minutes to it, but it was a beautifully hypnotic experience. And I'm hoping out that Stillborn is going to be quite like that. But you know what? let's listen to it first, and let's see what we get out of this. So, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. So, let's begin. Stillborn in 3, 2, 1, and... Sounds like someone's clearing their throat out, but okay. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It ended a little bit more abruptly than I was counting on, but there we go. I can't be too sour about that. Okay, so I mean, yeah, that was Stillborn by Sleep. I'm not too sure if I have quite a lot of things to say about it, aside from the fact that, okay, actually, I do have a few things I want to say about it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to discuss, like, the hardest part for me to talk about this first, and then we'll get into sort of, like, the easier parts, the stuff that I can, like, that, like, clicked with me and I can, like, resonate it. Because this is, like, one of those very rare occasions where there's something about the way it's, like, the lyrics are written that makes me feel a little bit like, were they trying to go for something a little bit, like, obscure? Okay, let's go for this. Souls a symphonying, spirit begins to drain. This could literally be talking about the process in its beginning. Like, what leads up to a stillborn, perhaps. Feel the presence of obscurity. Like, it feels... I can only... In fact, you know what? I think I know exactly what that's supposed to mean, as well as nailed to the soul of reality. And listen, I can tell you what, I know exactly what that means, and without getting graphic, or I'm literally, like, not gonna put it to print, so I think you could possibly work out what that means, but I'm gonna try and, like, swap it around in a second. Sad repressions, deep impressions, in this womb, remove and consume, break control and remove this fetus. Okay, so, but you don't want to know what I honestly think that what they were trying to do. This could be a thing, but for those who okay, I'm a big fan of a man called Maynard James. Is it James Maynard Keenan or is it Maynard James Keenan? He's the lead guy out of Tool, and one of the great things that Tool does in terms of what it gives to the world of prog rock is that Tool is specifically designed for as to be something to be yielded, something to be used, and you can use it in multiple ways. You can use a hammer, for example, as a weapon, or you could use it to hammer in a nail. You can also use it to pull out a nail. It has very multiple functions, and a lot of the stuff you hear in Tool songs also have this effect. Like, you could look into one particular lyric about a woman being on her knees, and your mind could think that she's giving somebody a jawbreaker, or she's actually on her knees praying. And again, interpret that what you will, but that's one of the big things I come to learn about Tool is that it's not quite what it seems. And certainly when it's talking about, like, stone or doom metal is, like, one of my favorite subgenres of metal, but it really is. And if you don't think I'm lying, like, check out anything by Stone Jesus, and there's plenty of stuff by Sleep going to come on this channel anyway, so there'll be a lot of time to, like, explain why it really is like a special gem in the crown. But the difference, what Sleep does is that there's a lot more room to interpretation by the way it's played as opposed to the way it's written. And one thing Sleep does, you know what? I could almost picture this is the sort of this sort of song will be played in a club where maybe River Phoenix is, like, laying down in the corner somewhere, and he's got, like, 7 joints between his fingers, and he's just having a go on each of them. He's just absolutely going wild. He's in a world of his own, and I wouldn't be mistaken for saying, ladies and gentlemen, if Stillborn didn't put me into, like, a separate world of its own. Like, I was kind of, like, under the okay. Honest to God, here's the sort of things that are, like, going through my mind while I was listening to Stillborn. like the Bronx at like 11:30 at night on a Saturday, and it's in some dingy little like club, like a jazz club that's being used as a front as like a hookah. Is it called a hookah den? It's a place where people like go and smoke pipes, and people just lay down in this basement. They're just like all over the place, and just like a guy went to the moon, and then just Sleep is just playing. Because even though even though this is the sort of thing I can imagine you would absolutely get into if you were high, I'm also now utterly convinced that the guys behind Sleep, they were some way intoxicated themselves, because there's something about the way like what's quite interesting is that usually in metal they would turn up, especially for like say guitar, they would turn the gainness on a large speaker, so that it gives it, so especially like in thrash for example, it gives it a very beautifully like a noisy effect, like it was designed to be played for something that's meant to be like very rough and very very avant-garde. But Sleep is very avant-garde in a different way, in how it's more like this, like the reverberations have been like turned up to 11, because even though I've got like all these soundproof paddings up right here, I can like hear the bass and the drumming just sort of like bounce off the walls. It's like you're like being hit by it. It's got its own methodical, very real presence, and I wonder if it's because it's such a repetitive, but it's also a very, very deceiving little practice. I'm almost convinced Sleep was almost. I wonder if this was made for people to go to sleep, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I feel like it's been made in a sense that you want something a little bit, something that's just like, oh god, it's like. You know what I mean? It's like it's been played so you could relax, and you don't have to. You should. What might be a little bit interesting is that Sleep, unlike Tool, Sleep, as far as I'm aware, I don't think they do very like deep lyric-y type songs. Like there's not many things that have too many lyrics in. Stone Jesus is a little bit different from that. I think they want to be like seen as like hippie artists or something like that. Sleep, however, I could be wrong about that. It's been quite a while since I listened to Stone Jesus, but there's been quite a few things I've listened to here and there that sort of like testified to that effect. Sleep, however, just I think, you know what, there's 3 words, and I'm going to conclude this right here because I don't think I can make this go any longer than already, but I think there's 3 words I think I could use to describe Sleep, and Stillborn in particular. Mellow out, man. That's the attitude I'm gonna go through with Sleep round here. I'm just gonna relax and just, you know, go with it. I'm gonna mellow out. I'm gonna bunk out. Actually, speaking about that, what time? It's nearly 10:30 at night. I need a bit. I've got work in the morning. What the hell am I doing still up right now? And don't know. I always have coffee at the side of my bed. Strange. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Stillborn and Sleep for yourselves, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys again in the next video. Take care and good night.